From the air, Dadaab is invisible, and then it slowly comes into focus. And the wide expanse of red dust looks like a terracotta platter dotted with black pepper. But as we draw closer, the specks glow, the color changes, and the bare platter fills. As we begin our descent, it becomes clear that the vast array of white, blue, and brown is actually a vast array of tents, row upon row. An area designated for 90,000 people is now home to nearly 500,000 people. We're talking about a city, an area the size of a city like Miami. But this is not a city in the conventional sense. This is Dadaab. Dadaab is the largest refugee camp in the world. And images from Dadaab were plastered in the news outlets during the Horn of Africa drought in 2011 and 2012, with these images of children suffering from acute malnutrition. See, that's the image many people have when we talk about global hunger. But hunger isn't just in refugee camps. Hunger is a global epidemic, affecting communities in sub-Saharan Africa, in Asia, and even in the developed world. It's estimated that there are over 800 million hungry people in the world, and 18 million of those people live in cities in North America, Europe, and Australia. See, when most people talk about global hunger, they think that the problem is that there isn't enough food in the world. But the problem isn't the lack of food, because the absurd thing is that there actually is enough food in the world to feed the entire population. See, the problem isn't the lack of food. Hunger is a logistics problem. It is a problem of getting the available food to the people that need it most. It is a problem that affects all aspects of the supply chain. It includes the elements such as storage, transportation, packaging, international shipping, customs, things such as the road networks and tracking and visibility capabilities. It's estimated that about a third of the food produced in the world is wasted. Some of it rots in warehouses awaiting transportation to the market, while some of it rots at ports and border crossings awaiting customs clearance. And then some of it just rots in the field because the farmers do not think it's economically worth it for them to harvest it. In India, for example, 30% of the fruits and vegetables that are harvested rot before they get to the people that need them most because they lack proper cold storage facilities. And every year, farmers in sub-Saharan Africa lose 30 to 40% of their crops after harvesting to insects, rodents, rain, and mold. In Africa, it's estimated that the food that goes to waste could feed up to 49 million people, which I think is a shame. But you see, to me, this is not just about statistics. I was born and raised in Kenya, a country where agriculture is the backbone of a very diverse and bustling economy. But people still go hungry there, and food rots in the farms because farmers just don't have access to a proper supply chain to get their surpluses to the market. And I got to see this firsthand growing up on my uncle's farm, where they would end up feeding the cabbages to the cows or let it rot in the field because they weren't able to sell it or to get it to the markets. And the sad thing was, they actually needed that additional income to supplement their dietary needs and also meet all their other cover their other household expenses. Fortunately, there are some solutions that are being worked on and implemented to solve some of these problems. I happen to work for a very good organization, UPS, and at my job at UPS, a global logistics company, I have the opportunity to work with non-governmental organizations to strengthen their supply chains. We fund different supply chain initiatives and also offer our expertise as a leading logistics provider. And we also support these organizations during disasters to get much-needed supplies out to the disaster zones. And I believe that the opportunity for us to be able to make a difference through logistics is as numerous as the number of hungry people in the world. See, the key areas that we focus on are getting food to the market, coming up with better storage facilities, and using our influence as a leading logistics company to encourage trade in emerging countries, both on a local and a regional level. And last but not least, using technology to address what we call the last mile problem. So for example, this year we've been working with the World Food Programme on a project in Uganda to provide farmers with better storage facilities. Historically, the farmers used to use traditional granaries. That is what would be considered a traditional warehouse in a village in Uganda. And then they'd also use gunny sacks, similar to that. But then that meant that their grains were exposed to insects, rain, and all other weather elements. Through our funds to the World Food Programme, we've been able to provide the farmers with more durable silos, such as the ones on the screen, made up of metal and plastic. The results from this project have been amazing. The farmers have been able to decrease their loss by about 98%, which I think is phenomenal. There's another project I'd like to talk to you about, which I think addresses or provides a solution to a very simple transportation problem. Purchase for Progress, which is another World Food Programme initiative, provides small-scale farmers with access to markets for them to sell their surplus produce. Farmers in the Democratic Republic of Congo received bicycles. We like to call them cargo bikes. In the past, the women had to carry sacks weighing over 100 pounds on their bare backs to get the produce to the market. Today, with cargo bikes, the women are able to carry more to the markets, get there faster, and also access further markets too. I'm sure some of the folks in IE would have something to do about the utilization of that bicycle, but nonetheless, through the cargo bikes, these farmers are now able to take their surplus produce to the market, sell it, and with the money, buy additional food to supplement their dietary needs. For example, Marion here is able to sell her surplus corn or maize, and with the money can be able to buy tomatoes, carrots, bananas, fruits to feed her children. And in addition to that, the bicycles also give these farmers access to markets that they would never have been able to get to before. And the trickle effect of that is tremendous, because when assistant farmers have access to markets to sell their surplus, local trade increases. In addition to that, the farmers are also able to break the poverty cycle. See, cash is not the only thing that the private sector has access to. We also have access to innovation and technology that gives us our competitive edge. And I believe that we can use that same technology in the fight against hunger. Now, I welcome you to come with me to Mauritania, where we're implementing a solution, the Relief Link, a last-mile tracking solution. And I'd like to introduce you to Davis. Davis is a registration officer in the Beira camp in Mauritania. The Beira camp is host to about 40,000 refugees from Mali. Davis was very excited to implement the Relief Link solution because he was convinced that there just had to be an innovative solution to help in the distribution of aid in the camp. And even though the Beira camp only hosts 40,000 people, the challenges of the food distribution here are just as daunting as the challenges faced by those that work in Dadaab. Historically, when the refugees showed up in Beira, they would be given a paper punch card, which would be utilized during the food distribution. It was a very long and manual process for both the refugees and also the UNHCR or UN High Commission refugees staff members working in the camp. In addition to that, it was very easy for the cards to get lost and damaged, and it was difficult to track who got what or whether there was an equitable distribution of the food to the actual refugees in this camp. Today, when the refugees register in the camp, they all receive a smart card with a barcode. And the barcode contains all their information. And I'm not just talking about names. No, it's the names and all vital information that's associated with that family, and also the facial recognition. And today, Davis and his crew are able to actually go through the food distribution using a simple handheld device like this. And the results have been tremendous. So not only are they able to finish the food distribution faster and it's more efficient and accurate, but it makes a big difference from the staff members' perspective. ReliefLink was born from a proprietary software that UPS owns and was used during the Haiti earthquake. Davis today likes to say that after ReliefLink, my life has changed. We used to have to carry 25 laptops to the field, carry a whole bunch of folders and papers that we had to keep track of during the distribution. The change is amazing, because today not only are we able to create reports, but we're also able to finish the distribution faster, which gives us time to do other things in the camp, which I think is a great testimony from a user. ReliefLink is also being tested in the Doloado camp in Ethiopia. And our hope is that it will be used in camps, large camps like Dadaab, and also to support larger emergencies in the world. See, I think if we focus on solutions similar to these that I've just gone over today, we can be able to get food to those that need it most. And I think the best way for us to be able to do this is by forging public-private partnerships between governments, non-governmental organizations, the private sector, and investing in supply chains. And if we do so, I think we can achieve zero hunger in our lifetime. Thank you.